Hello. We're in March sometime. I can't believe where time is going. So, um, can you see the big picture yet? Things that I've said over and over and over. We're in the midst of the storm. Many things, a lot of the things, almost all the things I've been talking about on the world and politics this last 3 or 4 years is all happening now. It's not 3 months from now, it's not a year from now, it's all coming together. So, this is where I've talked about seeing the big picture, keeping yourself grounded in the storm, be your own anchor. So as all this chaos around us is happening and it's going to increase, you're able to stay calm for the most part, use discernment, do research, know who you are, and make the right decisions, or come to an opinion based on what you know, not what somebody or some news organization is telling you. Because basically everything, I generalize here, but everything we've been told is one big fat lie on so many levels. So it's coming to grips with a lot of this truths that are coming out now, and even more so in the summer to the election. So just looking at the last couple of weeks, just today or yesterday, Sweden joined NATO. Sweden, over 200 years of being a neutral country, all of a sudden joins NATO. Pretty significant. That would make news headlines on a normal news cycle if things were normal 10 years ago for a long time. But this is not normal, and we're never going to go back to the way things were. I can't repeat that enough. We're never going back to the way things were. We are going into new changes, new world, new everything. So don't think that, when it gets back to normal, I'm going to know. It's not. Senators, the whole Congress and Senate, all these long-term senators, congressmen, congresswomen are resigning or deciding not to go run for office again. This is happening more than it ever has. It's almost like once or twice a week, a long-running senator or congressman or woman comes out, says they're not seeking re-election. Sinema in Arizona just did it. Anyway, many people. So what's up with that? You got to look into it. I'm just saying things. I'm not going to explain things. You need to just keep an eye open on why that is happening. Could it possibly be the draining of the swamp in one way, on one level? Ukraine. The truth about Ukraine is finally starting to come out all over the place. Everyone's scrambling. So you'll see that. The Pentagon, even the military industrial complex can't hide this stuff anymore. The Putin interview with Tucker Carlson opened a lot of people's eyes. This is all about people waking up, and the more people wake up, the more we come together, have power, and tell our leaders what we want, not what they do on their own. We're holding everyone accountable now. President Trump, they've thrown everything at him they can for the last 7-8 years, and he still comes forward. He's got the populist vote. The people the Trump train is getting stronger and stronger, and the pundits and the mainstream legacy media do not know what to do. And there are people in the category who absolutely detest Trump, which is okay, but they don't have any explanation for it anymore. It's almost fun to listen to like NPR now or MSNBC and see them try to explain away the SCOTUS rulings that are continue coming, that are going to change a lot of things. But SCOTUS just ruled on President Trump and keeping him on the ballot in Colorado, which sent the legacy media and many other people into tailspins, because you have to ask yourself why the people who've been after Trump for going on 8 years now, what are they terrified of him? It's not just, if you do any research, you understand that they're lying a lot about what he's about. The people love him. And a lot of people support him, but you have to find out why they are so against trying to get him to run. They're going to continue. It's going to get worse. The border is finally starting to get exposed. We're having an invasion on the southern border. We're starting to see, unfortunately, a lot of these illegals, criminals, killing people, our own citizens. And there's laws being passed about that now, but it's going to get worse, unfortunately, until they figure out what's going on. All this needs to come to the surface, and it is now, finally. What you're being told by the mainstream media and the legacy media for years and years and years now, the majority of people aren't buying what they're selling anymore. They don't have the cover that they have. So mainstream media, legacy media is falling apart in front of our own eyes. They lied themselves into corners. I'm talking about all Fox, MSNBC, CNN, all of them, NPR, all of them. They're being exposed. That's what needs to happen. COVID, well, that exposure has been happening this last year, but more and more studies are coming out. People are starting to see the realities of what it really was, including the vaccines, what they really are, and that's continuing to happen. The Green New Deal and all this climate change and global warming stuff that's primarily putting dollars in a lot of people's pockets isn't turning out to be exactly what it was, what they said, of course. If you look at all the protests in Europe with the farmers, the Netherlands and all this, they're done with it. They're done with their leaders. They're done with these agendas being pushed down their throats. Same here in this country. Electric cars, the big agenda to push those without putting out any of the studies, just like Big Pharma. The negative studies out has come back and bitten them on the ass. After long cold winters and charging problems when it gets cold in electric cars, people are seeing the reality of that now. You know, and I've said before, step aside from this, anybody with a reasonable critical mind is for free energy. I'm for free energy. I'm for better energy. I'm for clean energy if we can do it the right way and not just an agenda being pushed to line a lot of people's pockets with money because it doesn't work. But that's another thing. Global warming, the same thing. It's becoming one big agenda. All of this is falling apart. So those are some points I've touched on just in the last month. Well, it's been steadily rising over the last year, but people are starting to see the reality of what's really going on. Light needs to shine on dark, and as dark gets light on it, chaos ensues. And we're in the middle of that now, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse all the way up to the election. So expect the unexpected, all the way down to aliens and UFOs, exposure there. But all this stuff is happening, so just be ready. Be ready. We're going to be good for the most part. The financial crisis is be internet blackouts, financial crisis, more of that coming, banks collapsing, the dollar's losing value. There's a lot of things going on everywhere and every level. So just try to be diligent. If you don't have the time to do the research, look at people like myself, or there's plenty of other alternative medias out there, independent journalism, independent media that's explaining what's really going on. We are the news now. We are. That's happening. I don't call myself a journalist. I just say what's on my mind. So some things to think about. Look around you. See the bigger picture, as I always talk about. Stand on the moon and look down. Take the 40,000 foot view. See that big picture that's happening. We've been under control by a lot of people for decades, hundreds of years, some people say, longer than that. And the people are finally had enough and finally are waking up to the fact that we are not buying what our leaders have been selling us for the most part. We're done. And we're taking our power back. This is going to be power back to the people finally. It's going to be a long process, but there's going to be a lot of chaos this ensuing 8 months and onward. But it's going to be fantastic at the end on the other side. We're going to see some things we've never even seen before. Just have some wonderful stuff happen for us, the people. Okay, hang in there. More to come.